Have you ever had to do a really important project, but you just keep neglecting to start it until eventually it comes to the point where you have to start it now? Well, for me, that's organizing the audio room in the back of our church. I need to take everything out of the closet, remove the back shelf, so I have some floor space to put in some music stands and mic stands. I also want to put power into the closet so I can add in a light, and we can use our rechargeable batteries for our in-ear monitors. Now, for reference, this is our original audio closet. It now serves as a storage for our nursery, but back before the babies needed it, this is where we put all of our microphones and DIs and cables. We've since moved to a larger walk-in closet, and for a while, it was organized, and then it just completely fell apart with cables everywhere, instruments everywhere. Nothing was where it was supposed to be, and it was complete chaos. So now, for the safety of my volunteers and the efficiency of my volunteers, I need to make sure that closet is just as clean as this one used to be. I mean, just look at this. Music stands all over the floor. Cables are kind of thrown up here haphazardly. We have boxes and random things thrown all over the place. Oh, and we also have instruments just hanging out on the floor for anyone to kick. Adapters are all over the place. Nothing's organized. There's a ton of garbage in here. This is not a good closet. Now, one really important thing is this closet isn't just for audio. So I need to make sure that all this stuff goes back where it needs to be, just a little bit more organized. Look what I found. This is a little volume pot for a guitar. It smashed off this bass, and it's supposed to go right there, but clearly it broke off. This is why it's important to take good care of your instruments. Don't leave them on the floor. It's another good reason why I need to clean out this closet, because we're just damaging the things that we have. And honestly, we don't have enough money to afford to buy a new bass, so this is a future project now. Congratulations. Something new for me to do. Here's everything in the closet spread out across this room. I need to organize this, but I also start measuring because I'm gonna start cutting out some of the shelves of the closet. And before I do that, I need to make sure everything's gonna fit. Okay, so this box represents the space that I would have in the closet if I take out the back shelves. Now I'm gonna try to fit all the music stands and all the mic stands in that little rectangle to see if my plan will work. If it does, we're cutting a shelf. If not, I gotta figure out another way. But first things first, I have to find all the music stands. So as you can see, I found all the music stands, and all of them fit perfectly inside my little green box, which means I can cut the shelves. Safety first. Okay, bit change of plans. The blade won't fit in right snug to the corner, so I'm gonna have to take out this post. I have to take it out anyways because I don't think it's gonna fit what I want to do a bit later on. Talk about that in a second. But I have to take out this post, and hopefully that'll get me my results. Woo! Did it! I'm pretty sure that was a stupid way of doing it, but I did it. So I managed to get the back two shelves out of the closet, which means we should have enough space for our music and mic stands. But there is one other thing I wanted to do in this closet. I said I wanted to add in some power into this closet. Now the question is, how do you put power in a closet? Okay, so luckily for me, there's a pretty easy solution. This wall is the back wall of the closet, and this is an available outlet. But there's also a problem when it comes to extension cables that I do want to address. So let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, and that's safety. See, when we use extension cables like this for more permanent usage, then we need to be aware that it can cause a lot of heat. To express why this can be very dangerous, I actually have a simple experiment here. This is just a regular Edison bulb. Now I've smashed the glass part of this so I can get at the filament on the inside. And this is just a simple 9-volt battery you can buy from the dollar store. But watch what happens when I touch the filament and short out the battery between the two poles. The filament becomes burning red hot. The same principle can be applied to our extension cables. If we give it too high of a load, or if we cause a short somewhere in the wire, it can overheat the wire, causing it to catch on fire. And when it's inside a wall like we have it with insulation and dry wood, it's a cause to burn this entire place down. So it's important that we make sure everything is safe. Always check to make sure the connections are made proper, that they haven't been kicked out or slightly loosened. Also, don't use any cheap extension cable from the dollar store. Invest invest in a good quality, heavier gauge extension cable. If an extension cable is a heavier gauge, it's gonna be a lot harder for it to heat up to the point where it'll burn the place down. While this isn't necessarily best practice, as long as you know the risks and you minimize it as much as possible, you should be fairly safe. Also, if you want something like a power bar like I do, then it's best to have it hardwired in. The more connections we have to the cable, the more chances we have of that failing, causing overheating or a spark. Now, there's another issue when it comes to power in the closet, and that has to do with recharging batteries. So when we recharge batteries, they actually give off a bit of a gas, especially if we're going to charge a bigger battery in here, like a lawnmower or a leaf blower, which we might have some ideas for in the future. So the closet needs to have some form of ventilation in it in order to protect people, so it's not filled with noxious gas the next person who tries to open it. And this challenge was really difficult for me to overcome, but thankfully, it kind of solved itself. So as I was trying to figure out exactly how I was going to solve this issue with ventilation in the closet, I decided to go to the closet and see if I can figure out something. As I went into the closet, I saw an amp sitting right here, and I pulled it away just so I could see the space I'm dealing with. And lo and behold, there's a vent right here. I don't know why there's a vent in our closet. Maybe this wasn't originally a closet and this needed to be for the room. I don't know. I'm just really happy that there is a vent. Now we can charge batteries in here a lot more safely, even if we want to have a larger battery, like something for a leaf blower. Okay, so I have another problem. This is a little bit bigger than this. So I need to resize the hole so it can fit this plug and I can shove it through. This is my largest bit. Hopefully it's big enough and long enough to go through the wall. Anyone that's ever done a project before can tell you it never goes the way you want it to. I had to stop filming the other day because we just didn't have the tools necessary for me to plug the power into the back. You'll remember that we had a power cable plugged into the wall just behind me right here, and that was what we would have used to plug into the back. However, the gauge was very thin, and as demonstrated in the previous example, that really doesn't bode very well, and it's going to cause overheating and could cause a fire hazard. So that was problem number one. Problem number two, the cable had only 2 wires, but the plug that it was plugged into had 3. That is an excellent way of starting a fire. For safety reasons, we had to rip out that power cable and put it in our own. So we had to stop recording, go out and buy some tools. But by then, it was a little too late and we weren't able to do everything that I had to do. With Todd's help, we were able to drill a new hole and put the entire power cable through. Now we have the yellow cable coming through the wall. It's going to be hidden by kind of a candlestick holder back here, so I'm not too worried about it. We will have to patch up some of the holes in the wall, which is a bit of a problem. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy because this is a far safer method. And now I'm going to try to finish everything that we started before. So let's get into it. So we ended up getting this massive tool chest. Now, as awesome as this tool chest is, it's got one major problem. When I open the lid like this, from bottom to top, it measures almost 29 inches. However, our shelf only measures about 16 inches. So we're gonna have to lower it a few inches in order to make sure that the tool chest can open up while it's sitting on the shelf.
Oh, look at the problem here.
What?
The screw isn't even in wood. The wood has a big hole in it. Actually, all the wood has holes in it. How many freaking holes did they put in this wood? Like they're all drilled, and they're all drilled with spade bits. It's like people were testing.
Maybe they were. And yes, that is my dad. He's helping me out on this project as he has a lot more experience woodworking than I do. We decided to use that center column in the closet that I took out as bracing underneath the shelf so that now the toolbox can sit on it with no sagging. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is hang the 3 guitars that the church owns. For that, I'm going to use these simple wall mounts. But we're going to have to put some bracing in it so that these wall hangers can actually have something to drill into and hold the weight of the guitar. Luckily, we've already gotten rid of one shelf, so let's just chop up that shelf, use it as bracing so that these guys can go right into it.
Where's that pen that you used?
I left it up on the shelf.
Oh, of course.
Right above your head. Alright, a little bit more toward beside the drill. A little bit more. No, beside it. There, more. There you go.
Jerk.
Okay, and we just finished putting the light in the closet. As you can see, we shoved it in the corner here. We felt that was the best place. We just kind of screwed it into the frame of the door over here. But we've got plenty of light now in the closet, which means that we're able to see things a lot easier and things won't get lost as much. It's pretty good. Okay, so one thing our audio closet has a ton of is cables, whether they're 1/4-inch cables like this for an instrument or whether they're XLR cables for microphones. We have a ton of them. The system that we had before was these shoe racks. These systems were great, but we ended up outgrowing these and had too many cables for the shoe racks to hold. On top of it, we already put the guitar and lights where these shoe racks are supposed to go, so these kind of are useless at this point. That's why I ended up buying something like this. Now this is a shoe organizer you can buy off of Amazon, and I really like it because it's gonna hang on the door, and each one of the pouches, we can put a cable in it. Well, I knew that would totally suck, and I was absolutely right. This project took me 4 or 5 days or so. I mean, this was a really difficult project. I mean, I was able to dedicate my first full day to it, but after that, I had to do after work. And all of a sudden, the time I had to work in the closet just seemed to shrink and shrink and shrink with all my other responsibilities. But I am extremely happy to know that the closet, she's done. Now, there's plenty more you can do. There's always more you can do with any project, but I'm pretty happy where this is. I got power to the closet, lighting to the closet, everything fits in there, everything's labeled. Oftentimes in production, we look at things and we ask ourselves, well, what's the best camera or the best audio equipment? But a good question we should be asking ourselves is, how are you taking care of your equipment? So hopefully this has encouraged you a little bit to take on the next project. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know some of the crazy projects you guys have worked on that just seem to snowball completely out of control. But hey, until next time, take it easy, bud. Can you tell I don't do construction?